Okay, continuation tayo ha. Article 116 or your misprision of treason. In your Article 116, these are the crimes or these are the elements of the crime. Number 1, the offender must be owing allegiance to the government of the Philippines. The offender must not be a foreigner. Number 3, he has knowledge of any conspiracy to commit treason against the said government. Lagi niyong tandaan, okay? You read this example. Okay? This is the act. This is the act. Lagi niyong tandaan na ang misprision of treason, okay? Ang misprision of treason, hindi yan mangyayari. Walang 116 kung walang 114 or 115. Okay? Walang 116 kung walang 114 o 115. Bakit, ma'am? Kasi this is the way or this is how he committed the crime. This is the way. Ito ang nakita nyo? Ito. He conceals. Ibig sabihin, sinikreto niya o itinago niya. Sinadya niyang itago na meron siyang knowledge na merong possibility of committing the crime of treason. Kanino? Kanino ba dapat siya magre-report, ma'am? Can either be governor, the fiscal of the province, the mayor, or the fiscal of the city. Diba, if you remember, pag tumahimik ka sa isang crime, you are not liable because that is one of your rights, right? Against right to remain silent. However, okay, sabi sa batas, Article 116, misprision, okay, of treason. Kung hindi ka nag-report, kung nanahimik ka, hindi ka nagsabi, you can be criminally liable for Article 116. Ano yon? Hindi ka nagsabi na knowledgeable ka na merong magko-commit ng crime ng treason. Okay? So, this is the so-called, hindi to act. Okay? It is an omission. If you remember your definition of your revised penal code on what is a crime. Okay? Crime can be an act or omission. Okay? Hindi to act. Tong misprision, hindi siya act. Andun siya sa omission. Ano yung omission niya? Ano ba yung from the word? Saan ba galing ang word na omission? Omission is from the word omit. Di ba pag nag-o-omit ka, hindi ka ginawa. So, that is a crime of omission. So, paano na papunish ang isang offender sa misprision of treason? You are punished by as like a principal. Okay? Okay? Ano naman ito? This one. You read this one na lang. Okay. Next one is we go to espionage. What is espionage? Ano naman tong crime na espionage, ma'am? This crime of espionage under Article 117, okay? The penalty of this crime is prison correctional. Picor lang to, picor lang. Okay? So, ano ba ang espionage? Ang espionage, okay, is the offense of gathering, transmitting, or losing information respecting to the national defense. Huwag niyong kalimutan to, with intent or there is a reason to believe that the information is used to injure Republic of the Philippines or to the advantage of any foreign nation. Simple lang ang espionage. Okay? Espionage is not condition on citizenship of the offender. Ibig sabihin, kahit sinong tao. Okay, review ko lang kayo konti Review ko lang kayo konti. So, ang espionage, again, there are two ways to committing it. Okay, you're entering and you're disclosing. Okay, remember in this crime, when you enter in a warship, fort, or military naval establishment, okay, your purpose is to obtain the information, plans, or other data of confidential nature. Okay, of course, the information is with regards to the defense of the Philippines. Kung hindi yan defense, hindi naman importante, that's not crime of espionage. The second mode is to disclose yung nakuha mong information. Okay? And that information could either strengthen the enemy or injure the Republic of the Philippines. Okay? Of course, please remember the difference between espionage and treason. That treason is always committed in times of war and never in peace. Pero ang espionage, pwedeng both. Okay? And espionage is committed in many ways. But a treason is only committed in two ways. That is, you're levying war. And number two, adhering to enemy plus giving aid and comfort. Okay. And in your inciting to war or giving motive of reprisals, laging nyong tandaan na itong crime na to, nangyayari ito sa peace, in times of peace. Kasi kung hindi yan in times of peace, nagiging treason yan. Okay, manggiging treason yan. Kasi ang reprisal, okay, sinusubukan nyong ayusin yung problema. Pero, the act instead, expose the Filipino citizens and their persons and their property to some unlawful or unauthorized act. And with regards to your violation of neutrality, remember also that this is committed in times of war. Pero unlike in a treason, hindi dapat kasali ang Pilipinas. Kasi kung kasali ang Pilipinas, it's a war crime. Na ito, ang violation of neutrality, it's a war crime, pero Philippines is not involved. At lagi niyong tandaan, dapat may regulation or order. Kasi kung walang regulation or order, hindi yan violation of neutrality. Lagi niyong tandaan also na dapat kompleto ang elements ninyo. At if you forget your elements, you remember who, where, how, why, who. Okay? Yung mga yan, yung question na yan, who, where, how, why, when. Yung mga yan, tanongin nyo yan. And madalas naman ang elements, hindi naman na siya lumalampas ng 10. Okay, bibihira naman na yung mga 10. Maabot tayo ng 2 to 5, mga ganun. Okay? So, how about I give you a bit of review kasi patapos naman na tayo dito sa title 1 natin. Sino ang mag-i-issue ng violation ng neutrality order? It can be the President of the Philippines, okay, who is the Chief of Staff of the AFP, okay? So what do we mean by correspondence? Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. Yung correspondence with hostile country, your Article 120. Okay? Correspondence is a communication by means of letter. Okay? It may refer to the letters which pass between those who have friendly or business relation. Lagi niyong tandaan na even if correspondence contains innocent matters, okay, if the correspondence has been prohibited by the government, it is punishable. So, for example, if yung correspondence sa isang kalaban na bansa or territory, okay, occupied by enemy troops, yung correspondence o yung information na yan, okay, kahit napaka-inosente naman yan, wala namang violation sana, pero it is prohibited by the government, okay, that the crime is committed, okay, correspondence with hostile country is pwedeng magkaroon ng violation na yan. Article 120. As long as it is prohibited by the government. Kahit pa napaka-inosente ng document na yan, o yung correspondence na yan, o yung information na yan. Because, what is the reason? Because of the possibility na yung information na yan is useful to the enemy. Okay? And it might reveal it unwittingly. Next one is your Article 121. Please read I will share this reviewer later on, and please read the examples. Okay? Next one is your flight to enemy country in your Article 121. Okay, there are only 4 elements. In this one, this is only arresto mayor. Mababa lang. Okay? Mababa lang yung penalty. So, there are only 4 elements. Number 1, there is a war in which Philippines is involved. Number 2, that the offender must be owing allegiance to the government. 3, that the offender attempts to flee or go to enemy country. And number 4, that going to enemy is prohibited by the competent authority. It must be remembered that when we say it is prohibited by the competent authority, dapat merong regulation or policy. Kasi kung mere mouth lang, hindi dapat. There must be a regulation. Okay? And lagi niyong tandaan, okay? Mere attempt to do this, okay, will likewise will tantamount to the crime of flight to enemy's country. Agad-agad, kahit attempt lang yan. Okay? Ma'am, paano naman kung nag-book ako ng flight, pero before nung war, hindi ko naman alam na magkakaroon ng war kasi 3 months before pa ako nag-book. Okay? Tandaan nyo, if book prior to the war and prior to the issuance of the regulation, if you did not pursue your flight, of course, you are not liable. Next one. Article 122 or your piracy in general and mutiny on the high seas. Okay? In your Article 122, there are 2 ways of committing piracy. But first, what is piracy? Hindi to yung piracy na pinipirata yung mga CD. Okay? Piracy is a robbery but in high seas or in high seas or sa aerial view. Okay? So, may hijacking ang tawag doon sa iba. Okay? So, what is piracy? Piracy is robbery or depredation in the high seas. Okay? So, high seas, ibig sabihin sa dagat natin. Okay? And of course, this is without lawful authority and done with animo furandi. Okay? Okay. With the intent to steal. And the spirit of or an intention of universal hostility. Ano ang high seas? Kailan natin malalaman, ma'am, kung high seas na yan? Okay? Your high sea, okay? Meron kasi tayong tinatawag na 3-mile rule sa Philippines, sa jurisdiction natin. Okay? From the word high seas, okay? It does not mean that the crime be committed, okay, beyond the 3-mile limit of any state. Okay? High seas means any water on the sea coast which are without the boundaries of low water mark, although such water may be in the jurisdictional limit of a foreign government. Okay? So, sa Convention on the Law of the Sea, it defines high seas as part of the sea that are not included in the exclusive economic zone. Ito yung 12 mile, kung di ako nakakamali. Okay? In the territorial sea or in the interwater of the state or in the archipelagic waters of archipelagic state. So, that is your piracy. How about mutiny? What is mutiny naman? Okay? Pero before that, piracy, it says here that piracy is a crime against all mankind. Pirates are in law hostis humanis generis. Okay? So, these are the two modes, okay, of committing piracy. The first mode is by attacking or seizing a vessel on the high sea or in the Philippine waters. Okay, and the second mode is by seizing the whole or part of the cargo or equipment of the vessel while on the high sea or the personal belongings of its complements or passengers. Okay. Yan, dito pa yung definition ng high seas. What is mutiny naman? Okay? Mutiny is the unlawful resistance to a superior officer or raising of commotion and disturbance on board a ship against the authority of the commander. Anong pinagkaiba ng piracy sa mutiny? Okay, first one, punta tayo sa offender. Ang offender sa piracy, stranger sa vessel. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila nakasakay dati. Kasi kung nakasakay sila dati, they are called passenger. Pero sa piracy, the offender must be a stranger. Sa mutiny, the offender is a member of the complement or a passenger of the vessel. So, pwede silang empleyado, okay, or isang pasahero sa mutiny. Meron bang intent to gain sa dalawa? Intent to gain is necessary in piracy. Okay? Pero intent to gain in mutiny is not important or it is immaterial. Okay? Ang nagkakaroon ng mutiny by mere, okay, ignoring the ship's officer order. Okay? Is there attack from in piracy? The answer there is yes. Okay? Here, there's also attack but it's from the inside. So, kailan nagkakaroon ng qualified piracy? If you remember our discussion in qualified theft, they are almost the same. So, it makes the crime, okay? Crimes penalty higher. Okay? So, what are the special qualifying? Bakit siya qualified? Kasi merong qualifying circumstances. Parang sa murder, there are qualifying circumstances para ma-qualify ang isang homicide into a murder. Okay? So, meron din niyang qualifying circumstances. So, number 1, seizure of the vehicle, also seizure of the vessel by boarding or firing upon the same. Number 2, abandonment of the victim. Pag inabandona mo yung mga biktima, tapos ninakawan mo. Okay, that's qualified piracy. And number 3, to, lagi niyang tandaan. Kung meron kang napatay, meron kang nasaktan, meron kang nirape while on act of piracy or mutiny, that is qualified piracy. Okay? Meron din palang qualified mutiny, ma'am. Yes. You just refer to the same. Yan. The same lang. Pero, sabi ko nga sa inyo, ang mutiny, ang offender doon is pasahero o kaya isang empleyado. Pero sa piracy, they are stranger. Okay, next one. What is a vessel? Okay, paano nyo nalalaman na vessel? What is a vessel ba, ma'am? A vessel or watercraft is one that is used for transport of passengers and cargo from one place to another through Philippine waters. It shall include all kinds and types of vessel or boats used in fishing. So, yan. I already discussed to you what is a piracy. So, yan. That ends our discussion for crimes against national security and loss of nation, or your so-called CANSALON.